Hey, my name is PolishLynx and welcome to another episode of Narcissu 0. Let's go with chapter 6 of course, which is titled Youko's Memo. Three years later. Oh, so we are moving a bit into the future. Yeah. Summer passed, as did fall. The long winter was also over. Spring came once more. In the gentle spring sunshine, we walked together under the arc of the blooming cherry trees. We were coming home from our high school entrance ceremony. 3 years had passed since the day we first met. Today, as ever, Kusako was by my side. Okay, previously they were in junior high. I just noticed that I made mistake saying that they were in high school in the previous episode. Yeah, they were in junior high school. Now they are in high school. So yeah. In the end, I had entered high school as well to be with her. I know already. And she kept the exchange diary going till now. At first we used her English notebook, but now we use one exclusively for the diary. We have already been through 5. To be honest, we are practically inseparable, so writing about the day's events doesn't have much point. Let's see here. Last night was boring, we had boiled 2 tofu for dinner, but it was delicious and I wound up gambling up 2 servings and... Still, the same contents. Also still the same, for I say nothing about lava at the crosswalk, is the fact that Kusaka stays close to me. It's all become the natural way to be, and I don't think it will change ever even in the future. However, there is one change from before that has occurred. Youko's memos. The old man in room 203 has a bad back. Should we install a handrail in his room? It'd be nice to have some chairs in the TV room. I think it's painful for the elderly to sit on the tatami mats for long periods of time. She would write many memos in the blank margins of the diary. Before I knew it, Kusaka had written her detailed memos and impressions of the home, and at times wrote suggestions to be done. I can't remember when it started, but it went beyond just physically help to also worrying about emotional needs. Hey, Kusaka, about the handrail in the room. It would be good to rethink that one a bit. No, I don't think it would be a problem either. It's just that inside the rooms, we think it's best if they are as independent as possible. Just like that, we chatted about the home. There were still very few senior citizen home institution in existence. Most likely there were other places fumbling their way to that status, but we're also muddling our way through. Okay, there's no hurry. While she answered, she crossed the crosswalk by hopping only on the white stripes. If I think about it, then I notice that 3 years have passed since we first met. But Kusaka was still as ever by my side. Hey Kusaka! Another 3 servings! I was talking about the donuts that needed to be distributed again today. For originally the home was staffed only by family members, Kusaka now came every day. At first she only came for a short amount of time after school, but she gradually stayed longer and longer. She'd even stay morning to evening on Sundays, and during summer vacation she'd sleep over. Well, she got along with my younger sister and the residents didn't mind either. The sky's looking a bit threatening. Oh. They both left with their slippers slumping. They were probably a very good team together. Eventually the day disappeared and it was time for the stars to appear and shine in the sky. I was able to overhear those two making dinner preparations. Now Kusaka eats dinner with us regularly. And Kusaka has her own bowl and chopsticks that match my sister's. Hey, you two, don't talk with your mouths full. This had all become completely familiar. Then when dinner was over, we began to study. I'm not good at English. And you're hopeless at math. But math is like also important part. Right? Even if you want to become a doctor. Pretty sure it is counted. At least in Poland it is counted. You know, for the last exam in high school. The results from math are, I'm pretty sure, are also counted when it comes to getting accepted or not to some medical university or so on. Let's continue. I still couldn't care less about school or studying. I only did it to be near Kusaka. It still seemed like she wanted to be a doctor. For I still don't know how serious she really was. Anyway, speaking of that, it's about that time. It was already 8 at night. Even though every day was the same, her mom always worried if we were even a little late. Come on, let's go! No. Now go get ready to go. Really, Kusaka answered with such a feeling of reluctance. For I'm always grateful for the help, it does have its limits nevertheless. It wasn't that she was unhelpful in the house, but she stayed so long. Well, not that her mom minded. In fact, she was delighted and overjoyed about it. But we were in trouble if we were a little late. Yeah, it's a bit dangerous to travel at night, so we'll be going in a bit. What's up with that giggle? What is she babbling about, seriously? Okay, that's enough of you. Go and get the preparations for tomorrow ready. It was normal for us to walk together when it was dark. For it wasn't a long way to Kusaka's house, it was our habit to be together down dark streets. For my sister's teasing was sudden, but since when had it become a habit? Before I realized, it had become normal to walk Kusaka home at night. It was still April. Sometimes the strong winds at night blew cold. Well, today's a bit chilly. What's with the goofy grin? Kusaka laughed like she had just played a practical joke. The truth was, that was her indirect way of asking to hold hands. Whatever, she was the same old person, and had stayed as shy as ever. I understood her feelings. To grab someone's hands directly was embarrassing. While thinking that, I reached out my hand. Okay, is this good? Squeezed my hand tightly, a little embarrassed, she suddenly snuggled up close to me. I thought about spring 3 years ago. When we first met, we shook hands in friendship. And now, almost every day, the routine was to walk her home at night. I didn't mention love anymore, but Kusaka was always close by. In those days, there was a constant smiling face. In addition now, there was a constant warm hand near me. Yeah, that was pretty obvious. Suddenly she stopped walking and turned to me with a red face. I had seen this happen before. Every time it was most likely a simple request. Really, she never changed. What is it, Kusaka? I answered in a flash. Oh, were you waiting for the chance?
そうだよ。こう見えて作詞なんだから、私は。
What kind of tactician? She was also pretty obvious, so there's no chance to fall into her trap. Still, she caught me by surprise with my first name. Kusaka's plan was for me to call her Youko. But even now, there is some embarrassment to call her by her first name. Come on, man, you know her for around 3 years. Well, yeah, for 3 years, basically. You can do this, man. Just go out with her. But more that, it might be better to say this was a kind of game between us. Then we were 3 turns from the intersection. We jumped over the lava in the crosswalk for the second time and finally arrived at Kusaka's house. Okay, heard you sleep after the bath, or you will catch a cold.
もう、わかってるよ。マキエくんこそ、ちゃんと日記書いてくれないとダメだよ。
Alright, well, good night.
あ、うん。おやすみ。
With those last words, we finally let go of each other's hands. She moved slowly at the entryway, then broke into a run. Once I saw her going, I turned around towards my own house. Then, several days later... Ding dong ding, okay. I guess she's missing today. That's what I thought as I listened to the school bells by myself. When she didn't come for me this morning, I thought that was a possibility. Once in a while before now, she'd catch a cold and miss class. Truth be told, I immediately wanted to skip and go back home, but because I'd made her a promise, I couldn't do that. Thinking about it, I suddenly picked up my notebooks. With school finally over, I headed over to Kusaka's house with the notes on today's lessons.
あら、いらっしゃいマキエくん。
Hello, good day. At Kusaka's mom's cheerful voice, I lightly bowed my head while greeting her.
ほら、上がって上がって。陽子も喜ぶから。
No, I just came to drop off the class notes.
いいから遠慮いらないって。さっきから風も収まって退屈してるみたいだし。
Half forcing me down the hallway, she invited me in. I guess it was okay as long as it was just to hand over today's notes.
あ、今お風呂入ってるから。ちょっと待っててね。
Okay. Doing nothing, I waited in her room for her to come out of the bath. I'm just alone in the girls' room. It's strange. I can't relax. I mean, it's just Kusaka, with whom I'm already close friends. There's nothing weird about this, right? Seeing the sailor uniform hanging up, I realized I knew that she was a girl.
いいお湯だった。
Sounds like she's coming.
暑い暑い。
Kusaka came back to her room, wearing pajamas and slapping her hands. She didn't seem to notice that I was also in the room. I mean, I could see her belly button. For just a second ago, I was thinking oddly that she was a girl. She, unsurprisingly, destroyed that completely. Yo, don't you seem to be doing pretty well for having a cold? And it's not that I care, but I can see your belly button. No, your mom forced me to wait in your room.
だからって急に来ないでよ。恥ずかしいな。
Kusaka flushed a deep red as she protested. Somehow I thought this was strangely adorable. Anyway, here are today's class notes.
あ、ありがとう。
While I held out the notebooks, I also explained today's lessons. It was a rule that whenever either of us missed, we'd teach the other what to study.
そうだ、思い出した。
What? You forgot something?
あのね、今日の日記だけど、メモに付け足してもらえるかな。
When she says memo, she means the usual Yoko's memos. It wasn't Kusaka's turn to write in diary, but often when she thought of something, she got me to add it when it was my turn. So, what exactly should I write down?
中庭に花壇を作るって。
Flower garden. I didn't think it was a bad idea. It was a dreary spot, with only the laundry drying there. But we don't have enough help with the home now, even now. How could we keep up a flower garden?
私たちじゃなくって、ホームの人たちにやってもらうの。
I really feel like my prediction will be correct. So basically he will become the doctor, and the hospital with the 7th floor is basically the future of the home he's working in. It looks like that at least right now. The home's residence. I would never have thought of that. As far as my dad and I were concerned, at least, the home's residents were guests. We only saw that they were constantly coming and going.
ほら、お花って見ても気持ちが和むし、何かを育てるって、その...
You look forward to the future.
そうそう。
I get it. Not bad at all. I was a little surprised as I replied. It was difficult for Kusaka to talk about giving something in the future to look forward to. But they could obtain some hope for the future. In other words, Youko called a reason for living. Whenever Kusaka offered her opinions, I was honestly impressed. She was completely in earnest, trying to think of things for the residents of the home. And after hearing Kusaka's suggestions, I did them.
ねえ、散髪もやってあげたらどうかな。
So saying, Kusaka pretended to be a barber. For some reason, my sister Hiromi became very enthusiastic.
じゃあ次はおじいさんの番ですよ。あ、ひろみちゃん、髪切るの上手なんだね。私、料理とか洗濯は苦手だけど、こういうのは得意なんだ。
Everyone has some talent, right? I guess. You are also bad at studying.
ちょっとお兄ちゃん、うるさい。
While she snipped away at the resident's hair, they continued their conversation.
実はね、私、美容師になるのが夢なの。そうだったの？そんなわけで、ここは陽子ちゃんに任せるから、お兄ちゃんと二人で頑張ってね。
She answered in the positive. That girl. But I wasn't sure how serious she was. I wasn't really sure if Kusaka was just looking about becoming a doctor and helping out in the future. Even if this wasn't a medical facility, just having someone around with the right qualifications and knowledge would make a big difference. Of course, it didn't matter if it was Kusaka who was the doctor. Certainly, Kusaka does like me, I think. And I like Kusaka. Soon the season would change to summer.
猫ちゃんが走って逃げる。そっちそっち、陽子ちゃんの後ろにいるって。どこどこ？
Just like that, those two ran all around the courtyard after the cat. Watching them in my arms was an Akita puppy.
やっと猫ちゃん捕まえたよ。
You should just keep it in your room until it's used to you.
犬小屋と一緒に猫小屋も作ってみようか。
Kusaka laughed while holding the kitten. Let's keep dogs and cats here. As you would expect, I didn't think it was a good idea at first. I thought, how? Well, my sister and I both liked animals and had always wanted one. Who would take care of it for? We had our hands full taking care of the home. But in regards to my doubts, Kusaka...
みんなで飼うんだよ。
She said this while pointing to the blooming flowers in the garden. I see. I thought, but I was still a bit anxious. But in reality, keeping the pets was extremely popular with the residents. Because every single person loved them. They accidentally got overfed, and the cat got an upset stomach. Without anyone saying anything, a designed feeder was born. Whoever it was would be a favorite of the animals in the home. So from then on, Kusaka did it at every opportunity.
外で行水すると気持ちいいですよ。
Kusaka said this as she unrolled a kiddie pool in the courtyard on a hot summer day.
今日は大掃除ですから、皆さんもご協力ください。
Just like this, she was always worked positively. She was popular with the old men and ladies of the home. Okay. Texts like that really are not good for my brain because of all the anime, all the manga, and of some games. Really. But let's continue. And we are always filling up new notebooks. Yoko's memos. Time after time, what she was thinking. Sometimes it was filled with delightful impressions, and sometimes it was filled with mistakes and reflections. Before we knew it, what had started as an exchange diary between the two of us had become a Makie home journal. Before long, summer vacation was over. As the cries of the min-min cicadas changed to the tsuku-tsuku cicadas. Yeah, good night. As usual, I had walked her up to the home, and we parted at the entryway. Now that I think about it, during summer vacation, she came here nearly every day. Well, I guess it's time to get ready for tomorrow. Hey. Oh, it's him. What is that? My dad wore an unusually serious expression when he called out to me. The hospital. Another for room 107. Unstable, huh? For all those people get a referral from the hospital. If this case was worse than usual, then they must be bad off. I understand. I don't know what other details I would discover from room 107. But ever since I was a kid, it was generally too late for all of them when they came here from the hospital. For most of them, who had been hospitalized a long time, this was just a temporary discharge. Maybe they had no relatives, or maybe their relatives lived far away. These were the only people who we heard about. They had been streaming from the hospital for I don't know how long. Certainly the hospital is the hospital, and they know best. Then the next day, I went to the home's entryway to wait for the usual person. And by usual person, of course I mean the one coming to room 107. Oh, Kusaka. The usual morning pickup from Kusaka. This doesn't concern you. I start to say that and stopped. Today a new resident is coming, and I'm waiting to greet them. No, there's no need. Kusaka's expression changed from one of wonder to one of suspicion. I started to explain slowly so that she could understand. Since we made a rule of no secrets, nothing had been hidden between us. The new resident arriving, well, it's been arranged that he move into room 107. Right, but in truth, that room is for people on temporary discharge from the hospital. Patients who are hospitalized but temporarily allowed to go home. It's natural that you wouldn't know. They are not here all the time, just temporarily. We don't tell the others. She asks questions that leave me speechless. How do I explain? It wasn't that I couldn't explain, I just worried about how I should. In the end, I just decided to be frank about it. People can stay as long as a month or as short as 3 days. Then they go back to the hospital. And this will happen 2 or 3 times. And before you know it, they never come back. I think they died somewhere. What can we do? We don't know any more than that. This is not a medical facility. Sick people go to the hospital and the aged come here. The healthy don't need hospitalization, and they can decide where they will stay. But the home's room 107 was a limit. For the people living there, it was yet another boundary chosen for them. That was the hospital's rule. For that reason, the people who are working at the hospital do their best not to come into contact with them. Who wants to be around someone they know is dying?
それって見て見ぬふりするってこと？
Kusaka's tone had become uncharacteristically harsh. Pretending not to see. You could put it that way. But think for a sec, Kusaka. Do you understand that this place is only a senior citizen's home? That's right. These others, they are people who have a high awareness of death. It wasn't unusual if they were advanced in age, and some also had chronic diseases. For those ones, the awareness was all the greater. The elderly are why everyone is afraid of death, and they try to ignore them as much as possible. When you're old, you're seen as being in the realm of death.
だから他の人には見えないようにするの？
What the hell is going on outside? Oh, great. They had to stop the dog because they wanted to fight. Yeah. Yeah, as well as the jobs that deal with them. At least this place. That's how I felt the home was perceived.
でもやっぱりちょっと違う気がする。
Maybe, even if that's what I think, I can't do anything about it. Above all, I don't know the best way to take care of someone facing death.
よくわからないけど、普通でいいのだと思うよ。
Normally, if I was able to do that, there wouldn't be any problems.
それってどういう意味？
Well, that's the word. But before I could finish my sentence,
すみません。
I looked behind me for the source of the voice and saw a young woman. About mid-20s, she gave off a very composed air.
こちらがマキエホームでよろしいでしょうか？
Yes. Who are you here to see today? She probably had some family at home. I asked to find out if it was a grandfather or grandmother.
ご家族の方でしたらお呼びしますよ。いえ、今日からこちらに入ることになった西川と申します。
Kusaka's face as she heard those words. I was shocked like her for just an instant because she was still young, and didn't look like someone who'd go to that room. But I didn't show that I was upset and answered, in a calm voice. Well, Nishikawa-san, I'll show you around. Please follow me.
はい、よろしくお願いします。
Kusaka, please help Nishikawa-san with her luggage. Then the two of us showed Nishikawa-san around the home. The TV room, the dining hall, and all the rest. A general explanation. All the while Kusaka remained silent. When night came and all the jobs at the home were done, I walked her home as usual. What do you think, Kusaka? Isn't it difficult to treat them normally?
さっきは名前聞いてごめん。
You don't have to apologize. In my case, I just have experience. My sister in times past had burst into tears. People were always coming and going. Just like you're waiting your turn in this place, but you don't go in order. That's why we don't make promises to them. It doesn't make any difference. Do you understand this rule? Even though it seemed lonely to me, there wasn't anything else to do. If I were to borrow my father's words, then from the start those living and those dying. The ones living and the ones left behind are incompatible. Mutual contradictions. Once I saw of Kusaka's retreating back, I returned to the home. I'm home. Huh? I saw a bunch of notebooks and textbooks spread out on top of the table. It was rare for all Hiromi to be studying. Are these supplementary lessons, perhaps?
別にそういうのじゃないんだけど。
For some reason my sister looked a little ashamed. I took a better look at the textbooks. They looked more like magazines.
ほら、私って美容師になりたいかなって思ってるから。
Now that you mention it, you said something like that before.
高校卒業したら専門学校に進もうと思って。
I see. Keep at it. Your brother is rooting for you too.
ありがとう。
I also knew what those words meant, because even now the home was understaffed. However, she had a dream she was working towards, and the least I could do was not get in her way. I'm the elder brother, so as far as I'm concerned, my sister should get to do what she wants.
そういえば、お兄ちゃんはどうするの？
Do?
もう、進路のことだよ。来年は高校2年生なんだから、そろそろ決めないと。
When she put it to me that way, I hadn't thought about it at all. Right now, my only plan was to follow Kusaka to college. For on this topic, both of us would be second years next year. We both still had time to think about our careers. We weren't too late.
そういえば、陽子ちゃんは大学に進学するんだよね。
Yeah, for I'm not sure how serious she is about it. Supposedly she's planning to be a doctor.
じゃあ、お兄ちゃんも一緒に進学すれば？だって今までずっと一緒だったんだし、そのつもりでしょ？
Well, to be honest, until my sister said that, I hadn't thought about it seriously at all. It had felt perfectly natural to have come this far together with her.
それとも、他に何か目標があるの？
Objective.
夢って言い方でもいいけど。
Objectives. Dreams. My sister, she had an objective for the future. I didn't know how serious exactly, but even Kusaka had one. And in my case, nothing particular came to mind. Honestly, I'd be happy if everything could stay as it is now. Oh man, same trouble here always. It's not like I enjoyed what I studied, really. But my image of the future. I'd say my inspiration from the beginning was Kusaka's face. Okay, so with that, let's end the episode. And tomorrow we will face the chapter 7. So, hope you enjoyed it, and see you then. Bye bye. If you want to get informed every time I upload new videos, click that annotation floating above the text, subscribe to never miss a video. To watch one of yesterday's videos, click that annotation around video on the left. Annotation around the cover of the game, which is located on the right, will get you to the playlist of the series that is currently being uploaded to the channel. When it comes to following me in other communities, all the links to these are in the description.